Hi, this is Julia Bell, and welcome to Principles of Information Assurance. This is fall semester 2018. I put a message out in eLearn the 23rd of August with a welcome message, how to contact me, and reminding you clearly when the pretest was due. So you need to confirm your attendance by that day. By far, the majority got that done easily before the due date, so thank you so much. That involved the syllabus quiz, an etiquette quiz, and a pretest. So again, thank you. There's no points awarded for the test and the intro items. It's just a way for me to be able to report you as attending and to kind of set the groundwork. In the beginning of the semester and beginning next week, which is this week already, this message has been out here since the 23rd of August. All the assignments, labs, and quizzes, everything will be in jblearning.com's site. So you need to purchase your course materials to get started on the assignments. It's not going to be one of those where you do part of it here, part of it there. It's just all in one place. I found that so much easier. You can purchase your textbook and virtual lab just as soon as possible. And again, the first textbook assignment is due on 9/10. Which is next Monday at this point. Again, this has been out here since the 23rd of August. So you've had some notice. Again, those are due 9/10. So it says to purchase your textbook and virtual lab, not or. I'm already getting questions of people who couldn't read where it said and this. All right, the syllabus is out here. Here is a document I put out here from the publisher. You can buy it straight from Walter State's bookstore. They have the print and the virtual lab bundle, and they are charging the regular retail of $179.99. You can buy it directly from the publisher. You can buy the ebook bundle from the publisher. Bundle means book and lab access. This one means print, book, and lab access. This one means oops, I didn't read the instructions. I bought the print book from Amazon, and I didn't read where Amazon clearly said that they do not provide the virtual lab access. So if you've already got the paper book, you can spend this much more and get the virtual. I saw someone in my office today that was telling me, oh no, it didn't say. Clearly says right here, purchase your textbook and virtual lab access. Here's Amazon. Here's where you go and you see this great price and you're thinking, wow, but read clearly. This is a standalone book and does not include the virtual lab access. So if you get the book cheap from here and you've rented it for $20 and you're happy, you still have to find a way to get that lab access because that's where all your stuff is turned in. It's got 10 incredible virtual labs. Otherwise, you'd have to set up a lot of equipment to get this done. This way, when you log in, it just brings it up. But again, if you ordered this book from Amazon and you didn't read the news item where it says purchase your textbook and virtual lab access, you've got to get the second part. Not everyone has created and registered with JB Learning yet because I've been watching. A few of you have, and kudos to you. If you ordered the Rendell cheap book, then you're going to need to buy the virtual lab access. And again, I'll put that reminder out here because JB Learning will sell you just the virtual lab if you've already bought the book somewhere else. But you've got to have that product or buy one of these two bundles. The ebook bundle is available only through JB Learning directly. The print bundle you buy from Walter State's bookstore or JB Learning. For some reason, the Walter State Bookstore did not do this option. I asked that they would, but it did not happen. Here's some directions on how to redeem your code if you've already bought it. Back to course info. There's the other things, the etiquette quiz and all that you took. The intro. A little bit about setting up the lab access before you begin. Some common lab tasks. This is just kind of set up and helping you get started. And a little bit about APA formatting for when I have you do a paper. the APA guide for Purdue, and also APA formatting EasyBib. You guys are really special. I'm going to show you, when we get to that point, how to use a resource collection tool. I wish someone had showed me that when I was your age and writing papers and getting started instead of having to learn it a bit later, but I promise you're going to love the tool that I've got to show you. All right, so at this point, setting up your lab access. Again, here's some more things from the publisher and how to get started, redeeming the code, all this great stuff. Let me go back to introduction. Here is under introduction was the syllabus. Here is the course ID. So if you go to register and it says, what course are you in? This is the number you need to know. And that's 2EE9, F as in Frank, 9. Again, these are the two things you should purchase, this or this, either choice you like. If you don't already have a jblearning account, you can create one. You can redeem an access code you've bought. You can search for that book. Turns out that's it right there. Stop. At this point, this is just the book. The bundle and the virtual labs can be purchased through ordering options. All right, you can go here, ordering options. If you want to order directly from the publisher, you can click this one to get the ebook and the lab access. You can click this one to get just the virtual lab access if you already rented a cheap book from Amazon. You will have to have this to pass the course. You can't do the labs without it. So you can click add that to your cart if that's the one you needed. I'll back up because I don't want that one. Let's say I want an ebook. I'll do that. Let's get rid of that one. Remove. Okay, so now I'm left with the ebook bundle. This has the ebook, the electronic book, and it also has the virtual labs. And you can enter that if you have a promo code, which I don't have any promo codes. If you're smart, you'll search the internet and see. Sometimes you can find them, sometimes not, but I don't have any of those. So that would be one way to get the text and the virtual labs you need, is to buy it directly from Jones Learning. I'm going to log into my account and kind of give you a little introduction. Okay, again, there's that course code. Yours, you just enter a course code when you get to that point, and I'm going to launch it. Great. Okay, here's some of the beginning things. You need to start at least here. Preview as, I'm going to look at it as a student. Okay, why these are jinky, I don't know. All right, chapter 1. Here is my lecture, and I'll just start that for you because I can see it. You can preview it. I'll just go in normal mode. There are embedded questions in this, so if you don't do it, you will miss some points. Do you want to resume where you left off? No. I'll just start it again. I need to scroll over. Okay, I'm going to go out of that because I don't need it right now. But that goes through the whole procedure, and I'm talking the whole way, so I actually walk you through it. When you get to the questions, you need to answer those. You can go back through it as many times as you want. There's lecture 1A and then lecture chapter 1, part 2. Okay, this is actually a video on the 7 domains of a typical IT structure. Here is your second assignment. All right, this one says to look at classification of data. You'll need to look at the book. and read this. Here's the assignment sheet. For at least 3 IT infrastructure domains that are affected by the standard. I go over those domains in my lecture. It's also in the textbook, a few of those. So that's not a problem. Be sure to answer all parts of the assignment, include citations, check for accuracy and format as a professional document. It's wonderful to use the internet to Google things you don't know. Don't claim it as your own. Include a citation. Let me give you the assignment sheet here. I shall open that. It is a Word document. Okay, mine opened on another page. There we go. Okay. Here it kind of walks through it, and I talk about what I want. I want it to be APA style. Your first one, I'm going to be real understanding. Your second paper that I have you do later on, I'm not going to be so understanding. APA style, when you're doing a paper, I'll just go below this instructions and go here and new and enter. Okay. APA is the first thing you're going to have on the page. On this one, you're going to use Microsoft Word, use a font size of 12. Everything's going to be double spaced. It's APA. Identify 3 IT infrastructure domains affected by the internal use only data classification. And again, you do need to read the book to understand what this is talking about. Okay, so I would come here, and this is going to be assignment 2. I will cheat and copy that. This is fall 2018. Your class is CITC 1351. Your name is whatever your name is. And then center all that stuff as a heading. Go to the next page. All right, this page doesn't need to be centered. And begin. You know, typing out whatever information you've got. Let's say you've got to this point and you need to do a reference, a citation, something you've got from the internet. Taking stuff from the internet is not free. It is not your work. You are taking it. You need to give attribution. If you cannot tell me where you got it, and I search and find you got it from somewhere else, let's just go ahead and call that effort a 0. So please don't do that. References, and for those of you going on to the next 2 years at another school, you're going to thank me later, as students have called me back a couple years later after they've graduated and said, you know, you were right. I did run into that immediately when I got to the next school, and I felt far more prepared than some other people did. Okay. You can insert a citation. Mine's already set to APA, a new source. And I'm going to show you how to use some citation managers, and I'll show you that next week. In this case, I think it was from a website. If it was a document, or if it's just on a website you got it. Who's the author of the site? Was it a corporate site with no author, just, you know, Procter & Gamble? Give me the name of the web page. Give me the name of the website. If this was from Procter & Gamble and it's on the page that talks about baby wipes, then the name of the web page was, you know, everything you need to know about baby wipes. The name of the site might be procterandgamble.com. The year, this information if you've got it, and I need a URL that will take me straight to it. If you've got other information you want to include, show all of the bibliography, and it'll show you more fields that you can enter. But most of the time, that's going to get it. If it's a particular page, that would work. So after I've got this entered, I'm going to just say the author is Fred Jones. Web page is actually, I guess I need to find that website. Oh, this has got to be hysterical. There is such a thing. Ha ha. All right, there's the URL if you need that. This is a corporate site. I got that on. Believe it or not, this is from Reader's Digest, and it is not a corporate author, and it is not by Fred Jones. It is by Juliana LeBlanca. Okay, that's who it is, and the site turns out to be check your spelling. The website, believe it or not, Reader's Digest. This one, it's on one of those parenting subsites. Does it give me the date? Wow, no. The site is dated 2018, so that's what I'm going to have to use. All right, I've got all the information I could find. Sometimes you'll get an author, LeBlanca 2018, and I'm going to get rid of the research helper. And let's say you've written your whole paper. Another thing you got to remember to do up here is to change the spacing at this point to 2, because you will forget. All right, let's say I'm ready to do my citations, references, and you wanted to do a bibliography. I'm going to do a works cited page, and there you are. The works, this really does need to be double spaced. Makes it so much easier to read. And you've got it. And if I, as an instructor, want to look at your work, I can click on that link and I can go look at that document, why you were using it as a reference. If you quote 3 or more words in a row, you must give a reference. If you quote 3 or more in a row, you also need to put them in quotes. That's considered plagiarism if you don't. Again, how I did that was I went at the end of what I was quoting, references, and I chose insert a citation. I added a new source, and there you are. If you're quoting the book again, you can just click on this and it will insert it a second time. And that's kind of the basics of APA. I put some documents out there on APA. I'll be making a more intense video on APA later and showing you how to use some site sorting tools and some tools to actually make all that a little easier. But yeah, that's one of those skills you really need to learn, and this course is one of those that's going to teach you those skills and make sure you do. Okay, now make sure and save my paper and move forward. I'm going to close that. And don't forget to actually submit that. Here's the date that it's due. Here's the time that's remaining. I, as a student, haven't submit this. If I wanted to submit it, I would go add submission. And it reminds me again what the criteria is, what I'm looking for. I can go out there and find that document. I will just send in something that's not right, just so you can see how easy it is to submit. I'll do this one. This one is not what I want, but I'll throw it in there. Once you drop it in the box and the icon appears, you can say Save Changes. And I have officially submitted an assignment. All right, so that's how you would submit that one. Go back to chapter 1 here. All right, that was that assignment, kind of talking about it. Let's go over here. Here's the first lab. These labs are pretty good size. Don't think you can just whip them out in 30 minutes. It won't work that way. Here's the submission form. Here is an assessment worksheet. The submission form tells you what screenshots you need to take. An assessment is like some things that you are to look for along the way, and a quiz is usually 5 to 7 questions. That assessment worksheet is going to really help prepare you for the quiz. I'm going to go ahead and bring the lab up so you can see how that looks. I want to do a new. We're going to use the one on the East Coast, and I'll start the lab. These typically take about 3 minutes to spin up. And when you see what all spins up, you're going to understand. If you were building this at the house, you would need VMware. You would probably need 3 different pieces, 3 different VMs to build different servers and things. And then this also has routers and switches behind that. So you're going to get a real good experience with looking at traffic, understanding how things can go bump in the night. This class is not the one that I teach that goes and looks at code and tries to find bad code and look at stuff like that. That is pen testing. That is a whole different thing. We actually decompile and actually go back and recompile some C code, and we also use Python and Ruby in that class. But this is not that class. This is the one that gets you through policy and understanding the basics and how things connect and work together and how you can protect those things. It's got 2 minutes. I'll wait while that's doing it. Let's go back here. I'll look at the submission form while it's booting up because it's in this window. We brought up the lab submission. Here is the deliverables list. And it tells you here the lab assessment sheet is separate. So go ahead and get that before you start the lab. Here's the things that I want. All right, upon completion of this lab, you're required to provide the following. Lab report including these things, arrival time of that Wireshark ICMP, which is a ping. You learned that in Cisco 1, how to do ping. P-I-N-G space in the address, right. And don't worry, the labs tell you that. NetWitness, and the lab's going to walk you through that again. ZenMap, and then here's some other things you need to do. All right, that's the complete list of what you need to turn in. Again, this is a sample that I'd turned in already, so you've seen how to do that. Mine hasn't been graded yet. Okay, up here's, the lab has come up now. Here's your virtual lab. Before you begin, you might want to check and make sure you got things set up properly. If you think you do, you can go forge ahead. Here's the objectives of this lab. You're going to use what they call a virtual security cloud. You're going to be using ZenMap. You're going to learn to make a fisheye bubble chart with relationships. A lot of really cool skills. All right, topology. Here's what you're actually working with that you don't have to set up. This one has 4 servers. It has 2 routers and a switch. If you totally mess it up, you can reset the lab and come back and start all over again. All's forgiven. If you're building the equipment yourself, well, you need to rebuild it. Here's some of the products you'll be using in this lab. They're all already installed. Deliverables, again, I gave you a nice sheet in that other section, what you needed for deliverables. And then here we start. They're saying go ahead and on your local computer, create a document called Lab Report, and then go to Part 1. Here's Part 1. And you begin and do these things. On the workstation desktop, double-click the connections. Here is connections, and it's saying at that point, double-click Target Windows 2, spinning that one up. I'm logging in, preparing a user. All right. If prompted, type the credentials, type OK. It didn't prompt me this time, so that's not a problem. On the Target Windows taskbar, click the Wireshark icon. Wireshark is this one. Looks like a shark's fin. Give it a second, it'll come up. You used Wireshark back in CCNA 1. Okay. This is starting to capture already, but that's not what I want. And then you follow the rest of these directions through to get what they ask you to do. And it's got pictures along the way that you can click on and make bigger to see. So it kind of goes on, and this first section is in the lab, goes down through here. And I promise, this is a really good lab. You'll need to do Part 1 and Part 2. And here's Part 2 after you finish 1. This one has you working in Linux. If you've never worked in Linux, no worries. Every keystroke you need is written down. We also have a great Linux course here at Walter State, and I highly recommend it for anybody going into programming, because if you don't find it out now, you're going to be learning it on your own in the field, because it will impact you. We are not doing part 3, so no worries there. I just do parts 1 and 2. I don't think we need the extra, but if you get extra time, by all means, look at that extra stuff. It's great. 2 are required. I'm going to choose disconnect. If you didn't get this lab done and you need to stop right now and come back later, you can save your instance. That means back to this exact place. I'm going to say don't save it because I didn't do much. And I'll just tell it. And sure enough, it goes away and takes me out of that instance. I'm still in jblearning, but that's stopped. These arrows, you can open up the blocks in a different way in jblearning. You can choose to look at assignments, what assignments are out there. The rest of the chapters are coming as soon as I can put dates on those. What assessments we might have, like those lab quizzes. An assessment is a quiz, that's the difference. Okay, but there are assignments. Don't worry about this pretest, I will take that off because you already took that in the other place. The first assignment, when it's due. I have submitted 2 items for grading, but mine were not good, so my grade will not be good. Here's some of the other things. Again, the rest of it is forthcoming. I was just kind of giving it some time. If you don't like to look at this tool, what SCORM packages are out there? I mean, here's the SCORM stuff that you need to do. I've currently made some zeros. Maybe I should get busy. You can collapse this at any time, or you can expand it. Again, that's just a different way of looking at the assignments in all the chapters. Either way you like to get to things. I prefer to go this direction, but again, totally up to what you like. I've tried to think of many different ways that might work. This is upcoming events and due dates. And like I said, I've got just through chapter 3 set out there right with dates so far, but I'm working on the rest of it. And there's some great material in this course. If you do have additional questions, let me know. I'm going to be getting our Slack channel up and running. My Slack died off, so I've got to fix that. But I look forward to having you in class, and I'm going to go back in as a teacher. Just so you know, as a teacher, I can go here in grades, and I can see who has created an account. I can see how much time you've spent it. I can see so many things. So, don't think that I don't know. Again, when you go out there and you purchase the product either through Jones & Bartlett, or if you purchase it through Walter State's bookstore, which is fine, don't forget to use this course ID, 2EE9F9, to signify that you're in this class, so that you'll see all the stuff that I've got set up for you. This has been Julia Bell, and have a wonderful evening.